Hey everybody, Mike Chipperini at Chipper's Island Adventures here on a beautiful late February day. And today it is that time of the month where I need to go ahead, fire up my generator and give it a 2-hour run. Not really a test, but to exercise it. So anyway, while I'm going to run this generator, I want to go over a few things that you might want to know about the Onan 2800i, which is the stock generator that comes with the Travatos and a lot of other Class B RVs. So let's go ahead and get the generator started. All right, let's go ahead and start her up. You can see I have 29.2 hours on this, which when you consider that I've had this RV for 2 years, that I have ran it on average about an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes. But the thing is I didn't know that you had to run the generator for 2 hours. So now that's what I do. So today, I just started it. It's about 12 noon. I'm going to let it run for 2 hours. But I'm also going to put a bit of a load on it. I just heard the inverter come on. I know over here, it says I'm getting 23 amps on my power control system. So let's go ahead and see if we can fire up. I'm going to use mix one for now. So we'll go ahead, turn the heat on, and I'm going to turn it up to about 72 degrees. So right now you can see the flame is on, so my truma is kicking in. In a little while I'll put it on mix 2 to further stress the electrical system and help work the generator. But let's go ahead. I'm going to sit up here up front. Okay, so while the generator is running, and like I said, I run it for 2 hours, and I think the common thought is that you should run it at least an hour per month. I do it for 2 hours. The reason why is because Onan says to run it for 2 hours under load. And the reason for that is it helps get all the old gas and whatever out of the little inlets and everything like that. So you really clean up the generator. With today's fuel, not cleaning out those old gases and stuff can present a host of problems. Anybody that's had a lawnmower, I'll give an example. One time I pulled the carb off a piece of equipment I have, and I hadn't used it in a while, and it was full of a gelatin substance, which is that old fuel. So now in all my tools I use pure fuel, because sometimes I'll use a brush cutter, an electric or a gas powered brush cutter, and I'll use it, and then I won't use it for a couple months. So I put good fuel in it. It cost me a pretty penny, but hey. So anyway, with the generator, you want to run it for 2 hours per month, and if possible, under load. Okay, so I just changed it over to mix 2, and I want to tell you why I like using mix 2. It's because mix 2 uses 1700 watts. And I was told by Onan, by Truma, they like it if, instead of just starting it up with electricity, go ahead and use mix 1. And then, if you want, use mix 2 or go to EL2. So that's why I do that. And I just prefer mix 2 and mix 1 because they're both propane and electricity, but once you go to mix two, it's mostly electricity. So, and I can feel the heat coming on right now. It's getting kind of nice in here. So, continuing on. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about with this generator is oil changes. Did you know that after the first 20 hours of use, you're supposed to change the oil? Thereafter, it's every 100 hours. So right now, I really need to change my oil, and that's going to be done very soon. And then you don't have to change your oil other than every 100 hours of use. And if you think about it, if you run your generator 2 hours a month for its exercise, that's 24 hours. So you're good to go for 2 or 3 years anyway, depending on how much you use it. The other thing I wanted to discuss was that, did you know you have a circuit breaker on the generator? So sometimes if you ever have problems where you're not getting power with the generator on, and sometimes maybe off, I'm not sure, I've never had this problem, check the circuit breaker on the generator. It really, sometimes it will click off, and it might prevent you from having a 110 service to your rig. So that's a good thing to know. All right, so I figured I'd show you where the breaker is. The first thing you're going to want to do is take off the front panel. So you take it off by turning this handle to where it says open. Okay, so the circuit breaker, I'm hoping you can see this. This is the switch right here. Right here. And then there's a circuit breaker right below it. And I'm going to try to give you some light here so you can see it. Okay. And that's it right there. You can see the switch. Right? And right below it is the circuit breaker. And that is, as you're facing it from the rear, it is in the upper right of your generator. Okay? Probably see it a little bit clearer right there. I hope this is picking it up. That's the best I can do. I highly recommend you download the manual, which is in the form of an app, I guess, and put it on your phone. You should have really, my advice for all Travato owners, you should have the manual for your Onan generator, the manual for your Promaster, and the manual for your Travato on your phone. You can put them all in your library on your phone. I'm talking iPhone. I'm not sure how the Androids work, but that's a really good tip to know. Make sure you have those on your phone. My next tip with the generator is, if you're running the generator, you're only getting about 23 amps. All right? So what does that mean? That means you're probably not going to be able to run your microwave and your AC at the same time. Because when the AC comes on, that's a huge draw of power. And to combine the AC and the microwave is going to go ahead and be more usage than the generator is giving you. You would say that you're going to be using upwards of maybe over 30 amps, and the generator is only giving you 23. So something to be aware of. And that also goes a lot of times when you're in a campground. If you're plugged into a 30 amp service and you are running the AC, you might get away with running the microwave a little bit here and there. But if you're in the middle of running that microwave and all of a sudden your AC cycles and you don't have, like, what is that called, the quiet start on it, or soft start, it's going to be a big amperage boost, and you will have problems where you'll trip the circuit, basically. And you can do the same thing on the generator by drawing too much amperage. So it's something to think about. Generally, I run my generator if I want to make a cup of coffee or something, plug in real quick, things like that. things that are drawing high, but I usually don't need to run it because I'm plugged in, or I also have a jackery on board. So what are some other things about this generator? It doesn't require a lot of maintenance, oil changes, and sometimes you might want to bring it in and get your fuel filter checked, things of that. And by the way, speaking of fuel, I hope you know that in order to run your generator, you have to have at least a quarter tank of fuel. And when I say at least a quarter tank, the generator will shut down after a quarter tank, once you get down to a quarter tank level of gasoline in your vehicle. And the reason for that, it doesn't want to draw down all your fuel out of your fuel tank. So it automatically will shut down at the quarter tank. So if you're going to run your generator, check your fuel level. And if you're not getting it started, of course, check your fuel level. I think that's roughly about it. There's really not much to say about the Onan 2800i. Bear in mind, it sits under your rig, so whenever you see speed bumps, try to gauge how much clearance you have. And you know, you got to be very, very careful, because that thing can take a clobbering if you hit the right amount of a speed bump or something like that. And you know, or when you're backing your rig up, you think you're good to go, but on the pavement you are, but then it rises up in the back on a curbstone or something. You got to watch out for those things too. But most of all, you want to run your generator 2 hours a month, every month. And personally, right now I'm a little bit late because we've had a lot of snow, and I finally got a pretty nice day, so I figured why not run it today and get that accomplished. So this is just a short video talking about generators and the one on board. Once again, in quick review, change your oil after 20 hours of usage, and thereafter 100 hours. Go ahead and know that you have a circuit breaker on that generator. Download the manual. I'll provide a link for that in the description below. And I'll even put in links for the Travato Manual and the Promaster Manual. So, and the fourth thing being, don't overload it when you're running that generator. So, I hope this helps you out a little bit with the Onan 2800i. All the best to all, and happy adventure.